Hey folks, this is Daryl. I figured I would make the video about Nioh 3, considering that the demo is currently out and the full game is about to come out in a few days at the time of this recording. This was actually footage taken from the original PS5 demo of the game back in June, and I just want to show you can kind of see it kind of obviously from the bat, but I don't play this game the way that the community wants to play it, the way the content creators play it. I believe fully in no skill Nioh. Now you may be saying, but Daryl, you just did that burst counter. Hear me out. Way too many people get filtered by this game because they put self-imposed restrictions on the armor they wear, on the techniques that they do, on the things they refuse to do, and they quit really quickly. But it doesn't have to be that way. As you can see, I'm using every dirty trick in the book here. I've summoned a benevolent spirit. I'm using the talismans. I am using magic. I am going to use the equivalent of what they originally called the living weapon in this. And the reason for this is simple. I think that when it comes to die and retry games, which is the term I use for these masocore things that people colloquially refer to as Souls-likes, they always want to stress about how challenging these games are, how they're for the true pro gamers of the true skill, and then people will impose all sorts of challenges. I'm going to do it taking no damage. I'm going to do it at level 1 only. I'm going to do it with no magic. I don't think that that's necessarily the healthiest way to talk about playing these games. I think these games deliberately give the player a variety of tools, a variety of build options to do things the way they want to do it. As you can see, by my using the benevolent spirit there, he's taking all the aggro off of this enemy so that I can hang back and spam projectiles and cast spells and protections. And you know what? That's fine. I'm sure it's considered scrub behavior or what have you, but these games are kind of hard enough as it is for most people, and I think they're intimidating to a lot of players to say, oh man, I had to die like 50 times to do this. And certainly this footage that you're seeing, this is not my first try. I probably must have tried this boss at least 20 times before I got to this point. But yeah, you can see I'm applying the Onmyo, the talismans, in this case extraction. And the reason is because I feel like there's this weird obsession among people that you have to play these games in this like pure fashion, in this clean fashion, when the truth couldn't be any further from that. There's all sorts of things you can do to debuff the enemy, to stagger them, to slow them down. I'm applying some status effects, and you can see I'm just hitting them with those extractions so I can get some lifesteal, but more importantly, I'm doing it so I can get my Amrita up there. And I'm not good at this game. I'm taking a lot of hits. I'm making a lot of mistakes. I'm not dodging things when I should be dodging. Yeah, sometimes I can get that counter out, but that is this first boss from the demo, this guy on horseback here. I had to learn the pattern somewhat, but I mostly just used what the game gave me as far as abilities, as far as skills. And it worked in time. Stark contrast to what you would typically see other streamers, other YouTubers. I'm calling forth the benevolent grave just to get a guy who's going to tank some hits for me. I'm applying some buffs to myself to, take less damage, to do more damage, to get that extraction. And here's the Bloodedge demon. For every time you farm these revenants for gear, it makes this guy stronger. You see immediately, I got hit. Instantaneously. And he's going for the benevolent assistant. I'm using these yokai abilities. I land to get that to burst counter. This guy's particularly a pain. You can see I'm just getting hit over and over and over again. But, I've got a little bit of, I believe it's a lightning stop talisman being applied to me. And then, right there, I'm hitting him with the debuff again. My strategy in these games historically is just to apply Sloth Talisman and Lightning, which also imbues slowdown, but unfortunately the Bloodedge demon, he's immune to a lot of that stuff, or highly resistant, and so I've got to, air quotes, do it honestly. Except I'm not honest when it comes to playing this game, and neither should you. Sure, if you want to master everything this game has to offer, which most people don't. Nioh games are extremely long. You have to go through like new game plus to see everything in terms of gear drops, in terms of enemy patterns and bosses. There's abysses and the like. See, I'm almost dead right here, and I'm using my healing. I'm getting out of there. This is aggro that would normally... I would not have this freedom to do this. The boss would be right on me at all times. You can see he also applies multiple status effects, which in Nioh is called confusion. Different elemental effects, the water and the lightning in conjunction with one another. Lightning slows you down, water makes you take more damage. But you can see like these big AoE effects, and at this point now I actually do have to air quotes fight him honestly, but look, I've already taken down 50% of his health. I'm getting hit from his lightning, getting hit from his sword strikes. I've got, you know, these resistance talismans on. So don't think that you can't just use everything that the game offers to you to just make these things more manageable. Like right now as we speak, Code Vein 2 is out, which also features a lot of accessibility options, for lack of a better term, things to make the game easier that you never see the people who play that game ever want to talk about using. It's like, oh, the game plays itself for you if you bring these assistants in. The heck with that. Play the game however you want to do it. I feel like the culture around these games makes it seem like the only true gamer is the one who can play this stuff. Maybe that's the From Software people who don't like Nioh, for the record. And a lot of that is due to simple mechanical difference at the end of the day. There is a different input lag from when you hit buttons and when the action is carried out in a From Software game, such as a Souls game, or Bloodborne, or Sekiro, or Elden Ring. Whereas in Nioh and Lies of P and other things like that, the response time is much more what you'd expect from a regular game. You press the button and it happens. Eventually you get that muscle memory built up from playing one of them that it's very difficult to go back to another one. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know if anyone watching this is going to be somebody who avidly plays Nioh, or if they're curious about it. I probably will end up streaming it, even though I've got to play Claire Obscure. Is there value in this type of gameplay? Or do you just want to see the absolute experts destroy games like this? Have you tried playing this game? Were you immediately filtered? Tell me why. I'm interested to know. But yeah, you see, I beat this guy. That must have been my 40th attempt. I lost count. But it's possible. If I can do it, then you can do it. Let me know if you want to see more of my subpar gameplay.